Hey YouTube, Texas Blades here. Today we're going to be doing a review, and staying with tradition, we're going to do it on the cheapest Mora knife you can buy. Everybody knows I like to review the cheap knives. I like to review the stuff that every man can afford. This knife right here you can buy brand new in perfect shape for about $10 to $15. I've seen them as high as 15, but also I've seen them as low as 9. Buy it now. So I took it one step further. You can actually buy this knife as a B grade knife. So you're not getting an A grade knife. It's going to be, it's going to have a little blemish somewhere on the blade itself. Let me show you. This is what Mora considers a blemish. See that little dot right there? See those two dots? There's one there and one there. It's just little teeny divots. I mean, it's nothing. It's specks. But Mora won't ship out a knife like that. They won't sell it through Mora Knives. So what they do is they make these knives so fast they stack them up and sell them to a wholesaler at a reduced price, and then that wholesaler can sell B grade Moras. So you're not going to get it from Mora themselves, you're going to get it from a seller. You can pick these up blemished B grades, which I just showed you. It's almost perfect, for about $7 to $8, somewhere in there. I paid less than $7 for this one on eBay. It was buy it now, free shipping, all the good bells and whistles. So you can pick up a Mora knife for less than $10, and it's a good little knife. It's going to be Mora quality, you know. So a little bit about the 511. It's a smaller fixed blade. This is what would be known as like an introductory knife for, I don't know, maybe a Scout or something like that. I bought them because they're going to be my kids' first fixed blade knives. I wanted it to be a good knife, but I wanted it to be something that was kind of smaller and had safety features. Now, the Mora 511 is essentially the 510, but they went ahead and a safety Nazi put this finger guard on there, which is great for kids, because if your kid slips and runs his fingers across a Mora blade, he's going to know it. You know, he may lose a finger. And this thing came razor sharp from the factory. Let's go ahead and take it out. You can see it comes with the same Mora sheath. Thing about this sheath I don't like, and I'll go ahead and say it now before I get into the pros and cons, is there's no clip on it. To clip it onto anything, I guess you could do the button trick where you sew a button on something and it'll clip onto that button, but you know, how safe is that? I lose knives enough as it is. I don't need help losing knives. Man, shit, it'll stay up there somehow. So, like I said, a little bit about the blade. It's a Scandinavian grind made in Sweden, just like all Mora knives. It's a clip point blade. So you can see it just drops off a little bit. That's clip point. Clip point blade. The steel is, I believe it's 1095 carbon, but they call it UHB 20. But if you look at UHB 20 and 1095, it's essentially the same steel. I mean, it's the same formula goes into making it. So I'm just going to say it's 1095 still. You know, that's a good high carbon. It's hard, but it's not super hard. You know, it's got a little bit of softness to it, and that depends a lot on how a company heat treats a knife too. Which I think Mora knives have a great system on how they heat treat it. They heat treat the blade, not the handle. They heat treat the blade in steps, so the actual bevel gets heat treated, cools down the rest of the knife, and then they dunk the knife. And that's how you're supposed to heat treat a knife anyway. You're not supposed to heat treat the backbone on it. That's supposed to have some give on it. It's supposed to be able to take some abuse on the backbone of the knife. So 1095. So it is prone to rusting. You know, if you take care of it, you should be okay. I've seen some more knives out there that were, you know, pretty bad looking, and you could tell the guys got a lot of use out of them, but if they just took care of them after each use, the knives wouldn't have looked as bad as they did. So you do have to, a little bit of care goes into taking care of the blade. Handle, 5 3/8 inches long. They come in lots of different colors. I've seen blue, I've seen red, I've seen orange, I've seen this dark red. So they do come in a lot of different colors, and it's thermo molded directly onto the blade handle. So it's not, they actually mold it onto the blade. You know, the blade's part of the process. It's not just something that's glued in there. So it should hold up. It has that huge finger guard, and if it wasn't for my kids, I would hate it. But the fact that my kids are going to be using these knives, I kind of like it. It's not a full tang knife. I believe it's right around three-quarter tang, something like that. It's 2.5 ounces, and the sheath is 1 ounce, so it's 3.5 ounces with the sheath. Total length on this is 8 inches. The blade is 3 3/4. The blade width is 11/16, and then the blade thickness is like 3/32. Okay, it's razor sharp out of the box. Like I said, I haven't had a problem with it. I've just been dabbling with it a little bit. Like I said, it's pretty much the 510, so if you like the 510, you're going to like the 511, and you can always cut that finger guard off with a Dremel and shape it just like the 510, and it'll still fit in this sheath like that. It locks down here. The finger guard has nothing to do with the way it locks in here, and we'll get into that in just a minute as well. It's made out of a hard plastic. That's the only thing I could come up with on the handle. I don't know what they mean by that. It has a small drain hole on the bottom of the sheath, so if it does fill with water, it'll drain out. The best application for this knife is probably going to be small to medium game knife for hunting. It's also a good knife for your tackle box. You know, I like to have a good fillet knife. But I don't want to cut bait with a fillet knife. You know, I need another sharp blade in my tackle box that I can use just to cut up bait. You know, you're going to be hitting a rock, cutting on rocks or whatever. So it's something that, you know, I want to keep my fillet knife razor sharp for when I go to fillet that fish. It just cuts perfect. So I don't use my fillet knife for cutting. I use a separate knife, and that's what this would be great for. I'm going to kind of tell you what I think about it so far. I love the knife. I don't like the finger guard. I believe they could have just made it kind of like this down here, and it would have been fine. The handle is really small for, you know, if you have a big hand. That's a small handle for you. My hand kind of overlaps right here with my pinky finger. As you can see, it's not. You know, it should be like that, somewhere like that, and instead it's just a little bit over. So the handle is kind of small. Would be great for kids. Like I said, this would be your kid's first fixed blade knife. This would be perfect for that, and that's exactly what I bought it for. There's a lot of play in there, so it does bounce around a little bit. And just to compare it, this is the Wahoo Killer, the Mora knockoff I did a review on. There's no wiggle room in there, and I love this handle. They went off of a Mora clipper. It's either the clipper or the companion, I can't remember which one, is what they designed this handle off of, and that's just the perfect handle. I wish this knife would have had a similar handle to this one, and a clip on it like this one as well. Would have been nice. We're going to do a comparison review to the Mora knockoff to a real Mora, and I was going to try to do it with a Mora clipper, but I ended up buying these for my kids. So like I said, good cheap knife, be perfect for your kid's first knife or for a toolbox, tackle box. hunting pack, whatever. And that's probably what these are going to go in, is going to go in my kids' hunting packs. They each bring their own little survival kit / hunting pack whenever we go hunting. Just in case they do get separated, they know how to use a lot of the items in there to get back to camp or to find me. You know, they have little devices in there to make noise so we can hear them. So if you're into Mora knives, I'm going to be doing a comparison on these two knives, and we should have that coming out real soon. I appreciate everybody watching. That's going to be it for this one. Alright, YouTube.